Hello and welcome back to part 3 of What If a Billionaire Invested in the Eredivisie, where we're seeing if a billionaire puts money into the Eredivisie, how far can he take them? Can they win a European competition again for the first time in quite a long time? Well, we're here to find out. This time we've gone 5 years into the future from last episode and we're going to go 5 years furthermore. So we're going to have a look in the Eredivisie and see what's happened over the past 5 years. As you can see, still stagnation at 8th. It went down to 9th actually. It stayed at 8th for a little while, so it's been unable to push forward a little bit. So perhaps you can infer from that teams haven't been doing too well in Europe, staying around the same level. So hopefully we'll see something happen sooner rather than later and get a push for a top 4 position. So if we go back to 2030 and 31 season, we can see that Ajax won the league from Feyenoord by a huge margin, with Roda JC coming in third, PSV finishing fourth, and Groningen finishing up in 5th in the end, just ahead of Vitesse actually on goal difference there. Achilles 29, after being promoted for their first time ever into the top flight, were relegated straight back again. The £1 billion didn't really do them much good. Season after that, Ajax won it again, only by 3 points this time from FC20, with Vitesse finishing third. Unfortunately, Roda JC, who I've got a soft spot for, finished down in 7th. And I know there's a chap in the comments that always mentions ADO Den Haag. They're back in the Premier League now. I gave them another billion as well just for you, so they're clawing their way back in there, and hopefully we'll see them finish up here again at some point soon. Season after that, once again, Ajax win it. Surprise, surprise. This time from FC20, with Vitesse finishing third. Roda JC back and forth where I want them. That's good to see. But nothing too surprising. Going down the leagues again. Once again, Ajax win the league. I mean, it's ridiculous now. They just keep winning it. It's a bit unfair. Someone else win it, please. PSV coming second, Feyenoord third, FC20 fourth, Excelsior doing pretty well, and then Den Bosch doing quite well as well. Vitesse dropping down a little bit, Groningen dropping down, and Roda finishing awfully, but they still beat ADO Den Haag. We've not had that leap up yet. Come on, 8 boys, let's do it. And the season that's just been, Ajax knocked off the top spot by Feyenoord this time for the first time in quite a while. Groningen getting a place, Roda getting a Champions League place, which is a little bit confusing. So, and there must be an awful lot of financial fair play problems in the league, because obviously they give them $1 billion one-off, spend it all, and they can't make much profit. That's the issue we're having. So I assume that Feyenoord won the league, but they can't do it because they've got qualification issues. I would assume that Ajax then get their place in the Champions League, and then I assume that Groningen have won the European place playoffs, so they get Europa League, and Roda, who came second in it, must have got Champions League instead. I think that's probably how it works out. Maybe. But I mean, I'm just assuming. If we look at the European playoffs, we might be able to see. No, Roda won it. So I guess Roda won that, and then they got the second place finish, and technically they go into the Champions League on financial fair play issues with everyone else. Where's the league? I'm trying to find it again. Okay, yeah. Season before that, Den Bosch won it, so they must have played European football, having quite a bit of a rise actually, with this £1 billion has helped them. Groningen the season before that, and then PSV won it in the 30-31 season. So interesting, but if we look at the rules, I think a lot of teams have. Oh my, blimey. Okay, FC20, Utrecht, Feyenoord, Go Ahead, NEC, PSV, RKC, Heerenveen, and Vitesse have all failed financial fair play. Not good, honestly, not good. I think we may have ruined their clubs financially by just giving them so much money and they can't make any profit. If you look at the Dutch Cup over the past few years, Roda losing it to Excelsior on penalties in the last season. They also came second in the season before to Feyenoord, but FC20 Vitesse and FC20 winning it the other 2 times. Achilles finishing second becoming runners up in the cup. That's unfortunate for them. A quick look at transfers then over the past few seasons. Big one, 38 million, 26 million spent by Roda actually at 38 million. That's big. 26 million leaving. Ajax spending quite a bit of money in PSV as well. Season after that, the biggest 75 million from Roda to FC20 for this guy, Kareem. He's rubbish now. He's only worth 6.2 and playing in Saudi Arabia. I mean, something clearly went wrong there. It didn't really, did it? Because he played very well, but he's suddenly they've lost 60 million nearly on him. Blimey. Can't explain that. Other big transfers, 29 million, 26 million. So there's a bit of money being spent again, which is quite nice. Season after that, 33 million being spent, rising to 55 and 36 million. So again, some big transfers being brought in, especially. Not many leaving, a lot of people still being brought in, which is good to see. Season after that, it drops a little bit, 16 million in, the biggest, rising to 25 from Feyenoord for a player from Anderlecht. Is he any good? He's not good. Well, I don't rate him personally. I don't think he's that great for what he's worth there. Season after that, Ronald van der Kamp leaving Ajax to go to China for 34 million. China still spending a lot of money clearly, and Real Madrid also buying a player for 17, rising to 20, and that's the season we just had actually. So transfers dropped down a little bit. I assume people are just trying to avoid making losses now to try and get back in Europe to try and make a bit of money. So now let's look at the Champions League. We go up to the 30-31 season. We can see that no Dutch teams are there. Seems to be a bit of a theme going on again. The season afterwards, no Dutch teams. No Dutch team season after that. Come on, have at least one Dutch team. And see, even this season and the next season after that, no Dutch teams. They've seemed to have just stopped playing in the Champions League recently. Probably due to financial fair play. They just can't get anyone decent in the team with decent players. That's probably my fault. But you would have thought they could get in there somehow. There's a bit more luck in the Europa League. Then if we go back to 30-31 again, we can see there's a few teams in there. Vitesse losing to AC Milan, Feyenoord losing to Fiorentina, but Ajax beating Basel 5-0 on aggregate to go into the second knockout round, where they lost to Anderlecht. Another team being knocked out by Anderlecht. They've done it a few times to some of our teams, which is a bit annoying. 31-32 season then. A few Dutch teams in it again. PSV losing out to Bursaspor, Feyenoord beating Stade Rennais, FC20 losing to Tottenham, and Ajax beating Napoli on away goals afterwards, a 3-3 on aggregate. If we go into the second knockout round then, we can see that Feyenoord lost out to Bursaspor, losing 4-1 on aggregate, but Ajax beat FC Red Bull Salzburg 4-0 on aggregate, so they go on to the quarterfinals, where they go and beat Hoffenheim 6-4. This is looking good. This is the furthest any team in the Dutch divisions has gone. This time, they've beaten Tottenham 2-1 on aggregate to go to the final with Leverkusen, where in the final, in the comments now, say what you think is going to happen. Are they going to win or are they going to lose? No cheating. They won! They actually won! Blimey, Ajax winning the Europa League for the first time in, it's 35 now, so the first time this decade, I think, or since 2001, I think it is, that a Dutch team has won the Europa League. So they beat Leverkusen 1-0. We can't see the fixture, unfortunately, but there we go. At least we know they won. Season afterwards then, Groningen knocked out by Leverkusen, the finalists from the season before. FC20 losing out to Spartak Moscow. Feyenoord losing to Athletic Bilbao. Vitesse beating Legia Warsaw 7-2 on aggregate, so that at least one team's gone through. And last season's winners obviously didn't do very well in the Champions League because they've been knocked out to Olympiacos on away goals. So, Olympiacos, Olympic Lyon, what am I saying? Season after that, Groningen also in it again, but lose out to CSK Moscow. FC20 losing out to Bilbao on penalties, Vitesse losing out to Valencia, Ajax losing out again, this time to FCP of Porto. After the dramatic win of Ajax, things don't look too good. That's probably why things are stagnated. Season afterwards, Go Ahead losing out to CSK Moscow. Go Ahead, nice to see them in it though, to be fair, I'm happy with that. And actually, there's no other Dutch teams in it this season. No one really got that far, so clearly a bit of a decline that season, and that was last season. So there we go. That was exciting. It's nice to see a team win it. What we're going to do now then is go 5 years into the future again and see what happens. So we're back 5 years into the future, and let's go and see what's been happening in the Eredivisie. If we go and have a look then, and go to stages, and go to the league table, we'll go back to the 35-36 season. As you can see, Ajax winning it again, dominantly by 20 points, beating Feyenoord to it. Roda JC finishing third, NEC finishing fourth. Venlo and Wilhelm getting relegated. These teams, especially Wilhelm, seems to be bouncing up and down a bit, so we'll have to see how they get on. Season further into the future, and Ajax have once again won it. This time, another dominant performance. Excelsior finishing second. Excelsior have come out of nowhere. Where have they suddenly been? I suppose they've been around there, but they've suddenly just popped up and decided to do well recently. Groningen always have been around there for the past 10-15 years or so. PSV and Den Bosch finishing fourth and fifth. Season after that, very, very much repetitive again. Ajax champions. RKC have come out of nowhere. Blimey, they've had a bit of a meteoric rise after being up and down, up and down. They finished second in the Eredivisie, ahead of FC Den Bosch, NEC fourth. PSV, AZ, Feyenoord, FC20, they're all down there. None of them are doing well at the moment. It's a bit confusing that only Ajax seem to have survived everything. Well, they've won everything, haven't they? So it doesn't matter. Again, the season afterwards, Who's won it? Ajax have won it. RKC finishing second again, so they're doing quite well. Excelsior in third again, they're doing decent, aren't they? And then the season we just had, Ajax winning it again, PSV finishing second with Excelsior, Feyenoord and Zwolle getting the Europa League places. Excelsior have just done really well. Suddenly they're a European team. We'll have a quick look at the European playoffs over the past couple of seasons, back to 35-36 again. PSV beating Zwolle, Den Bosch beating PSV, Excelsior, they're getting in Europe all the time, beating Heerenveen, and then FC Bosch beating Feyenoord before Zwolle beat Feyenoord. So you can sort of see there's a couple of teams there that just seem to be finishing in that 4th to 7th place all the time, and they're doing alright for themselves. Obviously, in terms of transfers, 3 of the biggest transfers are all players leaving Feyenoord, so they had a bit of a clear out there, must have been needing some money. And then 2 players coming from Fenerbahce for 15 and 13 million respectively. Season after that, again, more players leaving. The biggest one is Musa Kalu from PSV to Real Madrid for 30 million. Ajax spending 14 million, bringing players. And in fact, they brought quite a few players in, but from other Dutch teams. So they're not looking abroad, they're looking into the Dutch system now. Again, more players. It's just a lot of these top transfers now are players leaving for 29 million, 28 million. I guess they sort of burnt through that £1 billion that we gave them 10 years ago now. Last season, as you can see, Zwolle being the highest paying club, buying Juist de Jong from FC20 for 16 million, and actually most of these big transfers are players coming in to the Dutch divisions. And then the season we just had 21 million spent by Olympique Marseille on a player from Ajax, Younes Burunu. Is he any good? No, he looks alright to be fair. Maybe not worth that much for how old he is, but he looks alright to me. And a quick look at the Dutch Cup over the past few years, and surprise, surprise, Ajax have won it 3 out of the 5 times. NEC and Sparta winning it the other 2 times. AFC, I've never heard of them, but they're looking for a manager. Obviously, only just been promoted to the Eredivisie twice actually, getting relegated, then bouncing back up straight away, and they've seemed to have come second one year to Sparta. So that's nice to see. But let's look at the Champions League. So back to the 35-36 season, Ajax qualified for it this year, but they got knocked out in the first knockout round by Arsenal, so that's unfortunate. Season after that, no Dutch teams, which is a bit annoying considering we've given them so much money, they should be there. Season after that, there are 2 teams, Ajax getting knocked out by Barcelona on away goals, but Excelsior beating Seville on penalties. Excelsior they've come out of nowhere, so I mean they've got to the first qualifying round, they're in the quarterfinals, where they won. No way. Excelsior being Benfica, that's probably the kindest draw they could have got there actually, but they managed to beat Benfica. They're in the semi-finals. What's going to happen here? Oh, they lose to Bayern Munich. That's tragic. Excelsior just have come out of nowhere and suddenly become a European powerhouse, getting to the Champions League semi-finals. Blimey. What a team they are. Right, the season after that, Ajax are there, they get through. No Excelsior, unfortunately. Ajax beat Roma to go into the quarterfinals, where they get knocked out 3-1 by PSG, which is a bit sad really. Season after that, no Dutch teams make it into the first knockout round, and the season we've just had, and that was the season we just had actually, so oh well. We'll go down to the Europa League then, and we can go to the 35-36 season, go to the first knockout round, and as we can see, only the one Dutch team in the 35-36 season, it's Excelsior popping up again. They lose to Lazio though on away goals, and obviously it's before they have their meteoric rise to the Champions League semi-final. Blimey, I can't believe that still. That's incredible. This season, Excelsior in the Europa League again, beating Schalke, beating them on penalties actually, of all things. Blimey, I'm in love with Excelsior right now. This is amazing. Feyenoord lose to Leverkusen, and Ajax beat Spartak Moscow to go into the second knockout round, where Ajax lose to Napoli 3-1, but Excelsior are winning again. Blimey. I'm actually loving this. This is incredible. Excelsior, my new favourite team. I might even take them over and do a series with them. This is fantastic. Excelsior beating Galatasaray 4-1 on aggregate, going to the quarterfinals, where they faced Wolfsburg, and not a chance. They won. I can't believe it. They won 5-3 on aggregate. Excelsior going to the semi-finals of the Europa League. Can they win it like Ajax did? And oh no, they can't. Knocked out in the semi-finals by Seville. Unfortunately, who went on to win that? Seville or Benfica? Benfica. Well, Excelsior, you're my new favourite team, blimey. And then next season, obviously the season after that, they had their Champions League semi-final, so they've done well for themselves. After Excelsior's great run, and Ajax get into the second qualifying round, No teams made it into the knockout stages of the 37-38 season, so that's a bit boring. 38-39 season, only Excelsior getting in to the first knockout round. Excelsior just the team to beat at the moment. They got through. They beat Lazio 4-3 on aggregate going into the second knockout round, where they played Liverpool but lost 4-2 on aggregate. I mean, I love Excelsior. I mean, I might just take them over in the future now and just become their manager in this. Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I should do that maybe. If you want to do that, let me know in the comments if I should take over Excelsior. Blimey, this is amazing. And then in the season we've just had, Excelsior and Ajax in it again, both of them getting through into the second knockout rounds, where looks like Ajax have gotten through. That's good, but Excelsior lose, unfortunate to Inter 3-1. Ajax into the quarterfinals, where they won. They beat Shakhtar. We went on away goals actually, blimey, that's good. So they got to the semi-finals again, where they lost to Tottenham 4-1 on aggregate. So, two teams getting it into the semi-finals. Excelsior and Ajax. Ajax have already won it, obviously, as you remember from earlier on. I just find it incredible. Excelsior, love them, absolutely love them. So I reckon what we're going to do is do I just give Excelsior money? Oh, that's tempting, isn't it? What we're going to do, though, is go 10 years into the future for the next episode and analyse things there and see what happens. So if you've enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. If you've got any ideas for any other experiments you want to see me do, please leave them down below in the description. I'll get onto them as soon as possible, because I quite like doing this kind of thing and I want to hear your feedback on it as well. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time.